Hi, welcome back to our studio practice. Today, I would like to walk you through the display setting and workspace customizations for a better game modeling workflow. Later, I shall demonstrate some useful Polygon tools which specifically for topological control and optimization. So let's get started with your Autodesk Mind. First, let's look at the shelf that we have been using all this while. The shelf is a useful placeholder for our most frequently used functions or tools. It is a place where we house all our shortcuts. For instance, there's a shelf that labeled as custom. Let's click on it, and it should be an empty shelf in your own Maya interface if it wasn't been customized. For instance, I have customized that shelf before. As you can see, there's a functional mouse script shortcut at place. Anyways, for today's learning activity, we are going to create your own personal game modeling shelf. First, let's click on these icons to open up a menu. And click on a new shelf, as we are going to create a new shelf. Do you enter a new shelf name for it? Well, for this demo, I shall name it GAM. Once done, you will be able to see a new shelf has been created, which is just next to our existing custom shelf. And you will notice it is empty. Now, I shall show you how to add functional shortcuts to the shelf. Go to Edit Mesh and press Ctrl-Shift-Click on the extrude functions. You should be able to see the extrude functions has added to our shelf. Let's continue to do this. Press Ctrl-Shift-Click on the Append to Polygon functions. See, another new item has been added to the shelf. You could add as many shortcuts as you need. In addition, we could reposition all the shortcuts placement by simply using the middle mouse button. Just mouse over to one of the shortcuts, press and hold to your middle mouse button, and try to drag it around within the shelf. You could see the shortcut swaps interactively. Sometimes there will be an occasion where you have added the wrong shortcuts, or you would like to remove some of it. To do so, you could simply point at the unwanted shortcut, use the middle mouse button again to click and drag it all the way to the tiny little dustbin. And poof, it has been deleted. Let's repeat this step for removing all the shortcuts in the shelf. To have a personalized shelf is a very useful and handy. However, it ain't so cool to have it at the far away corners. So let's try to reposition it. Go to the shelf editor. As you could see, all the shelves have shown in the left column, and our GAM shelf is at the bottom. Let's click on these move out functions to move our shelf all the way up to the top. You will see from the shelf editor's background that our shelf is popping forward. Okay, and we have reached the number 1 spot. This is about time to customize a proper shelf that is dedicated to game modeling. Let's start with adding some primitive. They are always the basic building blocks to a game mesh. Mouse over to the cube functions, press Ctrl and Shift click on it. Do repeat the steps for adding a cylinder, a sphere, and lastly the polygon plane. There should be 4 new items being added to the GAM shelf. Good, let's move on. Go to Mesh menu and add the combine and separate functions. Remember to press Ctrl-Shift-Click. And we do not need Boolean as part of our game modeling toolset. You could tailor to your needs later if you want to add it. Next, go to Edit Mesh menu and add Extrude, then following by Append to Polygon tool. Speed Polygon tool. Insert each loop. Merge. Merge to center. Collapse. Merge vertex 2. Merge edge 2. Delete edge of vertex 2. And lastly, chamfer vertex and the bevel function. When you're accumulating more and more modeling experience, you would add more tools to your personal shelf and grow professionally. Next, I would like to walk through some of these edit mesh tools, like the functions of merge for edge and vertex, or merge to center tool and collapse functions, and the split polygon tool as well. All these functions should have already set to our GAM shelf. Okay, let's create a new polygon plane. You could press the shortcut key F to zoom and frame closer to your poly mesh. Good. Now let's alter the inputs from the channel box and reduce the subdivisions. For better visibility, try to turn off the viewport grid. Now, let's right mouse button click and choose Face. Please feel free to select any faces, delete them to form a hole or an open border. First, let's look at the collapse functions. Switch to the edge mode now and simply select these edges. Go to the shelf and click on the collapse functions. You'll see all the nearby edges have fused together into a single vertex point. Let's undo the step and test out the collapse function again with face. You will notice its destructional force in collapsing the borders and shapes. You could try it on the open edges of a hole like face demo. Again, fuse all the surrounding edges into one vertex point, and the gap has been manned or closed. Let's observe this. The collapse function will give us an uneven polygon distribution. All the affected edges would have uneven spacing and length. Press undo again, and let's look at the more uniform collapsing functions like the merge to center tool. See, all the edges have been fused evenly. To have a better comparison, let's undo again and duplicate the mesh, park it to the sideway. And we shall perform the functions of collapse and merge to center onto each mesh. From here, we were able to see how these functions would behave accordingly. Let's add the merge to center shortcut to our shelf if you have not done so. Remember, it's Ctrl-Shift-Click for adding a new shortcut to the shelf. Let's undo and remove the other mesh and shuffle our merge to center shortcut forward with a middle mouse button drag. Next, let's look at the demo for merge edge functions. Simply click on these edges and press Enter. You will see the selected edges are fused into one. Let's undo the actions and activate the merging edge functions again from the shelf. And continuously clicking on these edges in orderly manner without pressing Enter. You will be able to see the edges are merging and even could close a gap. However, from a personal preferences, this function will tend to disrupt a mesh topology. All the polygons will lose the flowing chords. Compared to the merge to center or collapse functions, the merge edge functions are less likely to be used. So I will remove it from our shelf as it would be less frequently used by us. Okay, let's go back to the object mode. Next, I would like to refresh everyone's memory about removing or deleting edges. Avoid using the use of a delete key for removing any selected edges, as its underlying vertex is still intact, and it is quite troublesome for having to remove the vertices separately. Do make use of the delete edge or vertex tool as long as it is on the shelf. It would be much efficient for our modeling workflow. Next, this is another recall to the merge vertex tool. In a closed border, you could target merge vertex diagonally. However, do take note for such bad topology, where a polygonal face has overshoot to the other parts. These result bad normal and shading interpolations problem. Lastly, we shall look at a split polygon tool. Go to the shelf and activate it. Split polygon tool is a useful tool for adding edges to a polygon face in an organic way. Your split polygon tool will look slightly different if you are using Maya 2012 or 13, where the tool's actions will be guided with an orange color magnetic line. The split polygon tool only works by clicking on the polygon edge. You could click and hold it for a sliding actions for fine-tuning your targeted split actions. See the demo. To finish the split, just hit the Enter key. You could also continuously click on the edges and form a whole new dimensions. It is a powerful tool for character modeling when you want to fine-tuning a topological flow with anatomy. And that's all to our demo for these sessions. See you again in part 2.